If you're not dealing with Kaye, it ain't the truth.
Welcome to the Street Show. I'm your girl, Kaye, the Truth Queen of the Streets. In studio, we have the one, the only Mad Dog, Manny, baby. Man, Manny is a legend in the music game, from promotions to just brand building. He's just a mover and shaker. I can't begin to talk about how influential he is in the music community, so let's just get into it. No way to get all the dirt, the tea, unless we talk to him. Manny, Mad Dog, what's up, baby?
What's up, Kaye? You already know what it is, man. Kaye the Truth in the building. Your boy Manny Maddog in the building. You already know it's going to be a real conversation going down. You know, man, testimonials up in here, man. 36 years in the business, baby. I got a whole lot to talk about, man, so I'm going to let you get it started.
Okay. Manny, 36 years. How did you get it started? How did it all begin for you?
Really, it started, the back end of my story starts with my brother. You know, my brother was a DJ in New York City, a very influential DJ, and I used to go as a kid to events, and we do block parties. He was a mobile DJ because there was no crews or nothing at the time, as you know, and I'm talking about mid-'80s, early '80s, mid-'80s, you know what I'm saying, and we was running around doing parties, and I would just stand there and I'd be in awe of my brother because we'd be doing a block party and there'd be, you know, 1,000, 1,500 people there just staring at my brother. And I'm like, why are they staring at my brother? Like, this is dope. Like, he's a rock star, you know what I'm saying? And I got it, I understood it, man. And I had my first opportunity at 16 years old to cut a deal. At that time, we was doing Latin music, freestyle music. And me and my boys would cut a record, and, you know, we had a manager at the time and so on and so forth, and started doing tour dates and moving around until I realized, hey, the people behind me are getting more money than me and my boys getting out here looking like monkeys dancing around. You know, I felt like we was the old music box. You know, they ain't go dance out there for 15, 20 minutes, open up for so-and-so, open up for so-and-so, open up for so-and-so. And we wasn't getting the money. You know, my manager's driving a new car, the promoters all driving new cars, and me and my boys are still rolling around in a Honda Civic. You know, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to start to get to know these people behind the scenes and create relationships with them. Started creating relationships with the artists. So now I understood, like, and I had one of my OGs, like an uncle of mine, Hector Laguillo, who was part of Fania and the whole salsa scene. He was doing booking in Roseland and in New York City and which is you know, historical spot, and Palladium back in the day, which is on 14th Street in Manhattan. And he was booking the Latin bands, and he was like, yo, you got these relationships, you know these guys. Hey, I want to book them, but you're the one that knows them, so you book them, and I give you the fee. So I'm 17 years old at the time, about to be 18, and I'm booking these artists, man, these big freestyle artists, you know, whether it was TKA or Cynthia or Judy Torres and all these people at the time, and I'm booking them because I got the relationships, and I told my man, I was like, bro, I'm leaving the group because this is not working for me. You know, the dynamic is not working. So I said, I get it from the back end, and I understand this, man, and they're getting money. I want to get money. I'm a businessman. I'm young, but I'm a businessman, and I get the aesthetics of business. So I started doing that, and that, you know, when I went to college, I went to University of Miami, moved to Miami, was actually living in Fort Lauderdale, and I started going to this club called Backstreets at the time, funny enough, right? But and it was a dope little club in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and I started going there, hanging out, and I ran into Louis Martini. I ran into the owner of the club. He introduced me to the owner of the club, and I started doing bookings in the club because they understood what I was already doing in New York City and my relationships. So I started bringing the acts out to Florida now. So that was pretty much my set off in terms of the business. And at that time they had WMC, which was in Miami, which is now Ultra Music Festival, which you already know there's 100,000 people that come for Ultra Music Festival in Miami. Back then, it was called the Winter Music Conference. So I became a part of that as well, from the front and the back end. And that just took me to a whole nother level in terms of, okay, I understand the business. I understand the aesthetics. I went to the University of Miami, graduated with a degree in accounting. So I started to understand spreadsheets and business and numbers and building my network and my network relationships. You feel what I'm saying? Like, hey, it's great to have a network. It's better to have relationships within your network. So I'm going to leave it at that and let you take it from there, Mama.
Your net worth is your network, so you got that part right. But, in the music game.
But let me pause for a minute. Let me pause you for a minute on this. And that's what I always say, like, even the conference, and I don't want to fast forward too much in terms of the timeline, but even in terms of the conference that I'm doing, it's called, your the byline is your network is your net worth.
Yes.
But understand, and I believe in that wholeheartedly because I've been saying it for years. But at the end of the day, there's a whole lot of cats that know a whole lot of people and don't have real relationships. And that's something we can talk about later in this conversation because
we need to go. We come back to the rest. Let's go and get into it. You started about the conference. What is the conference? And your net worth is your net worth is something I've been saying for years. Tell us about this conference and some of the panelists or entertainers.
Well, Bridging the Gap conference is something that we created about 5 years ago, and we did our first two prior to the pandemic. Had 300 plus people show up, and it was a great opportunity, to bridge not only the communities of business because it's different variables and not just entertainment. It's business. This is a business conference, but as well as connecting the younger generation with the older generation, the cats that have been doing it for 20, 25 years that are still doing it 25 years later, 30 years later, like myself. I've been doing this for 36 years. So I wanted to create a platform where these communities could meet. And it's really a global cultural power conference, empowerment conference, because it's just not music. It's just not urban. There's going to be a lot of attorneys. There's a lot of business people. The names and all that, you can go to my IG, which is BTG_Power Conference, and go see the panelists. I already put out the first round of panelists, about 15 of the most powerful players: Melinda Santiago, Ian Burke, Johnny Cabell, Dominique Mitchell, and the list goes, Ursula. The list goes on, and they all come from different communities. Nobody overlaps in terms of who they are and what they do, because I want this younger generation as well as the older generation that's in the business and still looking for new opportunities. I want them to understand the aesthetics of this, man. I want them to get the testimonials directly from the horse's mouth so that you guys start to understand how is it, because longevity is the key. And the way you keep longevity is not only having a network, but having a relationship with your network. As I sit here on this call, calling you from Puerto Rico, my home, my island, the Isla de Encanto, I am the true testimony that your relationships with your network matter. Because if I could have a network of 1,000 people and only do business with 3 or 4, because I don't really have relationships, true identifiable relationships like I have with you, Kaye. We haven't spoken in a while, but guess what? We get back on the phone like it's nothing. You're like, hey, I see what you got going on. Let me get you on this call. That is the testimony to, hey, I'm sitting in Puerto Rico and I'm still winning. I'm still running circles around most because my relationships are solid, that I could pick up the phone and call some of the best to ever do it. And they're like, hey, Maddog, how you doing, papi? Everything good? Yeah, I see you in Puerto Rico. Yeah, you winning, right? Yeah. I feel good about that. It makes me feel good. Like I said, I am the testimonial to that. that you could do that. I could be in Zimbabwe and still move and shape the way I would if I was in Atlanta, New York, at the hubs, LA, Chicago, Miami. I moved the same way I did when I was there. So the conference is about that. It's bringing in the best of the best so they can tell you their testimonials so that you can have a moment. It's very intimate. It's not it ain't going to be 1,000 people there. It's very intimate in terms of what we do and being able to have access and talk to these people, being able to connect. Because that's what we want at the end of the day. We don't want you to just listen to what they're saying. We want you to connect with them so that this way you can start to build your relationships, start to build your network value. Because without that, you have nothing. I don't care what line of business you're in. It just so happens that I've been in entertainment for all these years, so that's what I'm bringing to the table. But any line of business, man, you have to have those relationships with your network.
And the only way to have those relationships is being like a Manny. Every time you see Manny, he is always the same. He keeps it real. He doesn't change up, and he's a good person. And that's one way you are able to build those relationships to make your network powerful.
Yeah. And stay true. You got it on that one, man. Thank you for that, man. But just stay true, man. I've never gotten caught up. I'm not about the hype. I just stay true to what, to me, this is what I do for a living.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether I'd be the same way if I was working at McDonald's. I want to make the best Big Mac that you ever had in your life. Stay true to what you're doing. Say what you're doing. Do what you say. You understand what I'm saying? And keep it chill. I know my limitations. So I don't say yes to something just because somebody offers me a check. Mm-hmm. I don't say yes if it's not what I can do, it's not where my skill sets are at, or I don't see the value to it for me. It doesn't align itself well with who I am and what I do. Like you said, you know me. You see me. You see how I walk around. You see what I do and how I am.
Right.
And how they respond to me because they know my community knows who I am. My people know my value. Mm-hmm. They know my skill sets. They know how to utilize them. They see my relationships. And when you put all them pieces together, you go, God, this is somebody I need to be rocking out with.
Right, a good dude.
It just happened now at the Fleet DJ conference, man. Shout out Classic in North Carolina. I walk in the building, one of the little homies I didn't even know, shout out my man Cam. Cam came to me the next day and was like, yo, I seen you from the minute I was in the lobby when you walked in the hotel. He was like, bro, you couldn't even walk through the lobby without somebody shouting you out, somebody saying what's up to you, you shaking their hand and kissing the baby like you a politician walking in the building. I said, because these are my peoples. They're happy to see me. I'm happy to see them. We know what we do. Our network alliance is so important to us. This is how we get things done. And the beauty was everybody was there. Everybody that I needed personally to see was there.
Wait a minute now. So tell them what you do for Fleet right now. You've always been around Fleet, but you're international what? Tell them. Let the people.
I'm now officially a international DJ, man. And I'm not even a DJ. My position is more administrative. Thank you, Fleet. Thank you, Classic. Thank you, Beamer, DJ Beamer, and everybody. These are the managers of the international division, man. My man Kaye Swizzy, DJ Kaye Swizzy, K Swift, that's his name. But we call him Swizzy. And go check him out on the IG under I am Kaye Swizzy or DJ Beamer. He's actually from Kenya. And they called me up coming back from the conference, literally. And I said, man, y'all should have done this before I went to the conference. We could have made the announcement. But coming back from the conference, they called me up and was like, yo, we want you to be part of the management side of the international division because we know your value, we know your conversations, we know your relationship. You sitting in Puerto Rico. I tell them I'm on some globalization right now. Let's go global. So let's really do it, man. Let's start to bring in these people from Germany, from Holland, from Paris, from Australia, from UK, and so on and so forth overseas, because it's what I've done. Just to take you back a little bit, when I ran 14 years ago, when I ran and became one of the owners of Coast to Coast Mixtapes, that's what I did. I was in charge of setting up the DJs over outside of everything else that I did. But part of my duties was to set up markets for us outside of the United States of America. And through that process, I wound up doing like 12 or 14 licensing deals overseas for Coast to Coast Mixtapes. This was long before Coast to Coast Live and the tour and all of that, man. So at that time, my process was like, yo, let's globalize what we're doing. We're doing well stateside with the brand. Let's take the brand overseas. So with that being said, they now afforded me the opportunity to do this for Fleet DJs, which Fleet DJs is already in 16 states in the United States of America. So now it's like, okay, how far can we take this brand and this movement in terms of what we're doing to globalize the movement and take it there? So I'm glad that they seen my value and brought me on board. And it literally, like I literally last night made the announcement. So the announcement is starting to circulate today. Like I haven't even gotten my face card yet. So I went and created one. I took pictures with my T-shirt. You know how I am, Kaye. I'm going to stay proactive all the time. I took the pictures with the Fleet DJ, the shirt they gave us for the conference and all that. Took pictures sitting at my house on a mountain in Puerto Rico to show them what a real international brother looks like. You know, like what a real Fleet DJ International looks like. So they would laugh and like, yo, you really took it. I said, yeah, man, like, if y'all not going to get it, I'm going to get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go do it. And then when y'all send me my thing, then I'll do another blast out. But till then, this is what I'm doing, man, to show the world, man. And like I told Swizzy and I told Kaz, I said, let's go make them mad. Let's go make them mad. They're going to be mad that nobody else stepped up and said, yo, I need Mad Dog to be part of this. It's okay. It's okay. I love what Fleet is doing. I love what Classic is doing. This is the 12th annual. I remember the day that Classic called me up and was like, yo, I was living in Atlanta at the time, and he was like, yo, I'm coming down south. He was up in Jersey at the time, and he was like, yo, I'm coming down south. I thought he was coming further down, wound up in Raleigh. And, you know, okay, we went out to the first one that he did out there, you know what I'm saying? And it was a blast. It was a blast. And since then, we've been rocking now, and I've been watching. And that's why I flew out for the conference this time, because outside of some of the homies being there, I knew that there was value within that building. It ain't a bunch of fluff, you know, and you part of Fleet DJ, so you understand. It's not the fluff, man. It's that real happening in there, and it's real love amongst the brothers and sisters. And it's a real support system. So I love it, and I'm proud to make the announcement today. And this is actually the first interview I'm doing since getting on the Fleet.
And I'm excited to have him on the show, honey. Congratulations, Manny Maddog.
Yes. Welcome me to the family, La Familia. You know, and that's what it is, man. So that's where we at with that.
But not only with the music industry, you also do a lot of community work. You working with some kids, or what are you doing in the community?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been working with the community for a long time, man. Anything that I do is not new. Like, I've always given back. From the first 5 years I was in the business, I was going to schools and doing speaking engagements and things of that nature, because I understood my own power. You understand? So when I was in New York City, I used to do speaking engagements for the Board of Ed, and then I became part of a land organization, and I used to go out to speak to the kids in New York City. So I've always been giving back, and then with these conferences, I always speak on the panels and things of that nature to spread the message. Now we got, shout out my girl Kim Jackson, man, and we got the Team B Summit. We've done a few of those. And we got the next one coming up at the end of the month. Go to teambeatsummit.com. We have some great speakers. We have 300 kids already part of it. Me and my sister that I literally just got on the phone with prior to getting on this call, Jania Butler. We started the Hip Hop Union 14 years ago. So we've been celebrating hip hop. Now hip hop and what the community now see and what the masses now see 50 years later is that we are a powerful force, a force to contend with as a community. I mean, if you look at it, we put Obama in office with the rock the vote and all that shit and vote or die that Puffy put together. Everything at that time, as a community, as minorities, we came together and put a president off, not for one but 2 terms. So that goes to show you the strength of our community. So I've been doing this hip hop union with the Honorable Jesse Jackson, the legendary Reverend Jesse Jackson, for the last 15 years, me and Sis. And we're about to celebrate our anniversary in New York City for the African Day Parade in Harlem. And we got some after parties going on at the Apollo and so on and so forth to support our community, to support 50 years of hip hop. It's where hip hop union is where hip hop meets politics. You feel what I'm saying? And then we got the social services of hip hop because at the end of the day, hip hop is grown now. So the members from the original, whether you're talking about a Grandmaster Caz, a Melly Mel, Grandmaster Flash, we celebrated all of them. We give them all awards, Living Legend Awards. God Bless the Dead Man, Kango Kid, and so on and so forth. The list goes on and on and on in terms of the people that we've honored throughout the years. And we've been blessed to be able to provide that. So now when I see the 50 years of hip-hop and I see everybody stepping up, including the Universal Hip Hop Museum, these are things that, man, it's time. You feel what I'm saying? Time, because at the end of the day, as our elders start, becoming deceased and moving on in their life, we have to glorify them the same way, rock music has done for years. You know what I'm saying? And they respect their elders. So I'm happy now to see the older. I see Melly Mel with a sneaker now. I seen yesterday Run DMC in New York City got a pop-up shop with Adidas. This is glorifying who we are, what we done, and it's necessary at this point because guess what? We're now legendary. And hip-hop is infused in every aspect of lifestyle, every aspect. Whether it's commercials and you watching the Kool-Aid man coming out, he got dreads now, he rapping, in the commercials, or TV shows that you watch like Power or Godfather of Harlem where hip-hop is infused in all of that. And it's beautiful, man. And I'm blessed to know the brothers that do all that and put that together. And I know their background and where they came from. Shout out my man Marquand Smith, this one in particular with the Godfather of Harlem and the success that he's had working with Forrest Whitaker and how far he's come with that. There's a brother that I know since 94, 95. And so to see his vision come to life and he now he's become the go-to guy. I told him, you're the golden child now. Because now they think that, hey, if you strike lightning once, you can strike it twice. And guess what? I believe my man gonna do that. Just like 50. You know what I'm saying? He keep doing once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. He keep doing it. They keep counting him out. Well, guess what? If you counting him out, bro, you can't count. So yeah, man, my thing has always been to give back to the community, man. We have to. And I just had this conversation as well before I got on this call, man, in terms of we have to enlighten the youth. We have to give them the power. And how do we give them the power? By educating them. This is us now as the elders. We have to give that back. Because we've been given so much throughout our lives and throughout our throughout my business, throughout my years as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur at that, we've been given so much that we have to pay it forward. We have to pay forward the blessings. You feel me? Because I keep telling these young kids, man, I said, what y'all not going to do is F up what we created. We went from being $100 guys to being $100 billion guys. We created a multi-billion-dollar industry. And we can't allow the ignorance of some of these young cats, not to speak about all of them, but some of these young cats, we can't allow their ignorance to mess up what we created.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to teach them. You know what I'm saying? I was going around the other day singing the old Whitney Houston song. I believe the children are our future. And you know I can't sing, so I joke with it. You know, keep them well and let them lead the way. You know, it's real. Like them words resonate more now than when Whitney Houston did the record years ago.
That was one of my favorite
Records
songs.
records like We Are the World, man, resonate more now because we need unity in our community. Records like Self-Destruction, they're headed towards self-destruction. These records resonate more now than they did at the time. Because we need it. We need to support us. Ain't nobody gonna support us but us.
That's
so
right.
Who better than me, that I have a lifetime of working in this industry and being out there, being in these streets, because I ain't never left the streets. I'm an educated man, but I never left the streets. I've always stayed connected. And people always wonder why. And it's probably been why I've had so many shortcomings through life. As much as I've done and you see me do and celebrate, I've got a few shortcomings, man, and it's because I never wanted to leave the streets. I didn't want to become that corporate dude sitting behind a desk and not being disconnected from what's going on in my community.
Right.
And that's where we at. You know, we at this point, and I think more brothers like me in our position as we become the elders of this community, we need to give back more, so that it'll protect not only our interest in the business, but our interest in the community.
Mm-hmm. Well, Manny Maddog. Well, you know what time it is. Community stuff. So it's a little bit time for the hot seat. You know?
It's time for the hot seat.
I'm not going to burn you up.
Now.
Ask you a couple
I'm scared now. I didn't know there's going to be no hot seat in this, man.
They talk about
I didn't get the memo.
From politics to music. We're just going to talk about a little bit of stuff. You talk about staying in the community. We talked about fight the power. You know, well, I did fight the power. Head for self-destruction, all this unity stuff. What do you think about the brawl that just took place?
Oh, you talking about I ain't gonna lie, man. First and foremost, it's hilarious. And then I'm gonna get serious about it. It's hilarious in terms of it's become a meme now. People are now mimicking it, you know, and putting it up on social media because they see the tomfoolery of it, you know. So sometimes, in order to instead of escalating it, to diffuse it, we kind of made it, the community kind of made it like a joke. Like, this funny how the dude jumped in the water, the little kid, and he's swimming across, you know what I'm saying? It's funny how the dude threw up the hat like, hell, it's on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it letting you know, man, like, it's on and popping right now. Let's go. You know, when it first went on social media and I seen it, people were celebrating the fact that, you know, brothers stood up. They wasn't even involved, man, you know, in terms of this is not my fight, but I'm going to take this fight because you guys, the you know, the Caucasians, as I'm going to say, the Caucasians were beating on an African-American male. And I love how the brothers, like, yo, everybody, like, they said, oh, hell nah, man, we ain't letting this go down. And they all came running. Like, it's beautiful in terms of, damn, bro, that's fly how they supported that one man without even knowing what was going on. You know what I'm saying? How they all came together and was like, yo, we all going to get in this fight. We're not letting this go down like this. Like, we're not just going to stand here and record it. We're going to get involved. Now, there's some brothers take a little extra to do with the chair, the folded chair. And now I saw a video this morning, man. They was talking about that's the new weapon, man, and fold-up chairs, man. They got a video I was cracking up this morning on social media, and they show every time. So somebody cut a video of every time somebody pulled a fold-up chair and started beating on somebody. Like, this is the new weapon. Get your fold-up chairs. Guess what? Now you might go to concert. They don't even got fold-up chairs no more because they're scared. You know, but I like the way, you know, our peoples came together and defended this man without no questions asked, man. I thought it was effed up how you know these Caucasians felt that, they were privileged enough to beat down to this man while he was doing his job. You see what I'm saying? Because really, at the end of the day, this man was doing his job by telling them to move their boat so that the boat that's supposed to be there can get into parking space. Like, all he was doing his job. So if this is the way we treat people doing their job, black, white, Asian, Latino, it don't matter, man. Like, every time somebody, so you trying to tell me that you feel that was warranted in that moment? So I'm glad they got their ass beat at the end of the day. I'm glad my brothers and sisters came down and beat them down, because guess what? It wasn't right. Teach you a lesson, man, that, hey, you know what? You can't just walk around. And then the question is, had it been a white man or even a Latino, would have been, but I'll just say a white man, because they probably would have beat down a Latino too, because we're all minorities. But had it been a white man telling them that, would that have occurred? That's the real question.
Not. I would say probably not. So you're right on that.
I would say the same thing. It would have probably been a different level of respect in terms of what they were being told, as opposed to taking it from a black man and going, man, F this dude. Let's beat him. You know what I'm saying? And there's 10 of us now. But guess what? That's where they messed up, because then 30, people came and beat them. Behind that, like, they must have been afterwards, like, man, I wish we would have never done this. You know what I'm saying?
Ended up in jail. I mean, it was just a sad situation.
Yeah, it should have never happened. It should never occur, man. It doesn't matter. Like I said, black, white, Latino, Asian, it doesn't even matter, man. It should have never happened. Bottom line. You know what I'm saying? We all, at the end of the day, like I always say, man, we are all human beings.
Right. And
just
and karma came around really quick. Yes.
Oh, yeah, karma reared his face real fast. And I always tell people, man, I don't mess with karma, because karma's a real biatch. You know what I'm saying? And I know her intimately, so I know what it is. So, yeah, karma came real fast and reared his ugly head, and look what came. Like I said, I'm sure at the end of the day they was like, man, I wish. And now, they're facing prosecution and everything, and even the people that got involved, unfortunately, they're about to face prosecution. Right. Because they the way the law looks at it, from the eyes of the law, they should have never gotten involved.
Right. On another hot seat, question number 2, we talked about.
Oh man, I'm scared now.
What do you think about the Mexican Border Patrol, immigration? The
migration and everything that's happening?
Yeah.
Well, I'm watching everything that's going on in New York City, man, and it's funny, once again, I was just talking about this morning to my sister in New York City, who's very politically involved, in Butler, and my partner with Hip Hop Union. I was telling her, it's always a battle. It's always a battle, because you're going to have the left wingers and the right wingers, man, and they're always going to be in opposing sides, man. So when you look at what's going on, and even in terms of New York, man, shout out my man Power. He's the dude that, if you watch the news and you see the buses pull up, the dude that got the big afro, that's my man. He is hip hop, Zulu Nation and all that, man. Like, he's a real brother. God bless him, man. And he's the one that greets them. He's a Latino as well, and he's the one that greets them when they get on the bus. But I say this to say this. I was just telling her, man, it's crazy how they're building these tent houses and all that to house these men, and they're separating, especially the ones that are single, that came by themselves and all that. But the thing is, they haven't been verified. So you don't know if this dude left whatever country he was in, and he's a rapist, he's a killer, he's a pedophile. We don't know. We don't have this information on these people. So you got the community divided. One side of the block, you got these people, and it's a variety. If you look at the people, it's not just white people. It's white, black. It's people from the community. It's even Latinos that are standing there going, we don't want them in our neighborhood. This tent is going to be built blocks away from a school, an elementary school. We don't know what's going to happen. They're worried about kids being abducted That's where the community's mind is. If you watch the news, that's what they're talking about. When they interview these people, that's what they're concerned about. Then you got on the other side, once again, you got Latinos, white people, black people on the other side of the street talking about, hey, this country was built on immigrants. Let them be, you know what I'm saying? Let them come to our community. Let them create their own American dream while they're here. So to me, it's a little confusing because I see both sides. I see where they're coming from. Like, hey, these people have not been validated or verified, and you're gonna put them in. You're just gonna drop them here in the community, and we don't know what they're gonna do. They don't have jobs, so they're hanging out all day. They're not. You understand what I'm saying? And
right.
From the other side, for me personally, I'm first generation in the United States of America. My parents came from Puerto Rico, so they are immigrants. And they lived out the American dream. They created $1 million business. God bless them. You know what I'm saying? And they did what they were supposed to do in order to give back. My father was a military dude. He was a sergeant in the army. You understand? So he fought for our country. So guess what? And protected our country. So he did what he was supposed to do. And it's crazy. We're just talking about this morning, man. I was just saying, yo, how my father, what we had in the discussion, I remember a story that my father told me where he used to walk in the Bronx down Grand Concourse. And Grand Concourse at that time was a lot of Jews, primarily. It was Jews and Italians, you know what I'm saying, but primarily Jews. And he said he would come home from work, and he lived closer there. He'd come home from work, and they would be out their window talking about, go home, Spick.
Wow.
Go back to Puerto Rico. And this is in the early 50s. And it was hurtful. And my father went on to contribute so much, and through his business, with my mother, my mother and him, they were interior decorators. They paid taxes for 30 plus years, and they had the business. So they paid into the community and put a lot of cats that nobody else would have touched. I'm talking about cats on the block during the 80s that were crackheads. Kids that were on the block that had no future, no goal, no aspiration, nothing. My parents would put them to work. Like, hey, you want to work today? You want to make a quick $100 for the day? I need you to go, blah, 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 and put them, and we do deliveries and things of that, man, and provided opportunities. So when you look at people like that, man, and one of my best friends, David Gonzalez, is a Mexican out of Texas, originally from the Midwest, and he got a company, clothing line called Bossmatic. So when Trump started all that about the wall and putting up the wall between Mexico and the United States and all that, and I was like, man, look at the Mexicans that are affluent in their community, that are doing things, that own their own businesses, that are paying their taxes. This is my man. He just cut a deal with a company in Turkey that the brothers are worth $14 billion.
Nice.
And this is a Mexican. You feel what I'm saying? Then I go to one of the Rainbow Push events, and come to find out, I didn't even know. To be honest with you, I really did not know. And I can't remember her name right now. It escapes me. But one of the keynote speakers at Jesse Jackson's event was the head of Treasury, the Treasury Department in D.C. So when you look at the $100 bill, the $50 bill, the $20 bill, you see it's signed by the treasurer of the government. And guess what? She's Mexican.
Wow.
Not only is she a woman, but she's a Mexican woman. So why keep denying our people? Why keep denying them the opportunity? Because guess what? You go back to the early 1900s when all the Italians were coming over and all that, and they was winding up and landing at the Statue of Liberty because that was the sign like, yo, we're in the home of freedom. We you know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to live the American dream. Let them do it as well. Now, the problem that I have, to just go a little bit further, and I'm going to leave it at that, is that we're not getting, especially in New York City, we're not getting the cooperation of Biden. And I'm going to tell you something that's real effed up. You spent all these billions of dollars sending all this equipment and all this money to Ukraine, and Ukraine has no value to us. They don't want to be here. But yet the people that are here, that are already here, and Eric Adams was talking about it yesterday. and they're saying, hey, I can't even get a call from Biden and his people in terms of, hey, this is costing us millions of dollars every day to support these migrants that are here already. But yet you go into a country to fight a war that's not ours.
At all. I need to say something. You said two things so far that I really want to touch on. Number one, the buildings that they're building for the migration to hold the people. Why we're not building...
They're not buildings, they're tents.
Well, even that.
Tents.
Why we can't get tents for the homeless people that's already here? Because I know in Texas, when you see the homeless people under the bridges with the tents, they come and take the tents.
Yeah.
So what are we going to start doing?
That's been happening forever, man. Like, our shelters are at capacity. So now you got a hotel called the Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan that's at capacity as well. You know what I'm saying? So they're starting to spread them out to Yonkers and other places, Long Island, and these people don't want them. So now they're starting to build out the tents like they're doing on Randall Island in New York City. These are tents, but guess what? It's about to be 50, 40, 30 degrees in New York City. We're heading into fall season. There's no insulation. There's no heating units. So what are these? It's got to be temporary housing, because once it gets cold in New York City, it gets cold. It ain't like being in a warm climate. It ain't like L.A. or Texas or Miami. Now, guess what? I sleep in the beach. It don't matter. I've been homeless. It's happened to me.
Right.
And I've had to sleep on the beach. And I always tell my people, I said, bro, thank God that when it happened to me and I lost my home, I was living in Miami. So guess where I go? Right on the beach. I sit there and they got the showers. Guess
we
what?
Take care of our people first, the people that's already here.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
I'm like, dude, it's just not right all the way across the board. And really, to be honest with you, everybody think a black person should be Democratic, right? Man, Biden and Kamala are not doing a thing for anybody, in my opinion.
Oh, no, man. I want a businessman. I ain't going to lie. I'm Republican to the death, man, and I can't take DeSantis. If I see DeSantis in office, I will never leave Puerto Rico. I promise you. I would never leave, man. He's the worst, man, and he's homophobic on top of all that, you know. So, I mean, I'm not going to deny a big community, and I got friends and sisters and all that are part of the LGBTQ community, and I don't have a problem with that, man. I really don't, because they're just, once again, like I said earlier, we're all human beings. Right. You know what I'm saying? So respect us as humans first, man. And Trump is a businessman, but they keep attacking him. You see, we were just talking about that this morning too, man. He is the new Teflon Don. He keeps deflecting the bullets. Whatever you feel about him, the country ran better when we was under his tutelage than it has with Biden, man, who keeps tripping up and falling downstairs and falling off of bikes, man. Go retire, man. Go sit your ass up somewhere, man. Go to Florida and enjoy the rest of your life.
One thing I did like that Trump did do, a lot of stuff I did not like, but one thing I did like is when they was doing the when countries, when he was taxing the countries, when they want to bring their stuff over here for the goods or whatever, and they do us, but we wasn't doing them. It was something, I can't remember exactly what it was, that he put in place, and I was like, yeah, they should be charged. Everybody benefits off of America, but America is really not benefiting anywhere. Make it make sense.
No. Listen, man, he's a businessman. And people forget the country is a business. He understands spreadsheets. He understands balance, checks and balances. He understands that. Is everybody right? No, man. Ain't nobody all the way right, because you can't make everybody happy. Like me right now, between you and his chances are real, real long. But I want to get behind Francis Suarez, who's the mayor of Miami, 2 terms. He's done a lot of good for the people of Miami and South Florida, a lot of good. And he's a Cubano. He's a Latino. I told people, man, listen, before I die in my life, I seen a black man be president. Can I see a Latino be president? And I think that if our community, because guess what? When Biden was running, the Latinos got behind Biden, because guess what? We're all minorities. At the end of the day, whatever you are, it don't matter. We're minorities. So we are the lesser of the few. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, Francis Suarez, and I was just talking about it again a few days ago about this, man. I said, I'm going to put my push behind him. I love Trump. My sister's getting behind Trump. I'm going to get behind Francis Suarez because he's a Latino. I think as Latinos, if we get together, and I said, man, listen, man, if you don't like Trump, you don't like DeSantis, you don't like Biden, let's get behind Suarez because guess what? As minorities, we should get, if we got behind, as Latinos, we got behind y'all to get Biden in office. Y'all should get behind us to get this Latino in office.
I don't like Trump. I don't like Biden. I'm going to have to check out the person you're talking about. So,
exactly. Go Google Francis Suarez. He's the mayor of, and he's a former attorney, so he understands, legalities and business and so on and so forth. But he's done good by Miami. He's done good. He is the mayor of Miami, and he's running for office.
Okay.
And he's on the Republican ticket.
I'll check it out. Hot seat question number. Well, let me go back to the Republican thing. Which I started to touch on it. I dislike when they automatically assume that every black person is a Democrat. Not true. I try to look at everybody that's running and identify things that will work for me, and that is the way that I vote. I'm not necessarily stuck under one party, but anyway.
Exactly, man. Me personally, I'm a liberal. So listen, I'm just looking at everything. Like you just said, man, I'm looking what's best for me, what's best for my community, what's best for my people. You feel me? What's going to be ultimately best for the country in the long haul, because God willing, I still got a lot of years to live, and I can't let this go to hell. I can't sit here and sit back and watch this, man. And it is what it is. To me, those are just titles. The titles don't mean nothing. I'm looking at the individuals.
Right. And we must also vote on the local level first. If you don't do anything, you need to take care of home first. Check out your local elections.
That's right, man. And it's happening right now. So, yeah, get on board. Man, at the end of the day, man, go let your voice be heard, man. If you're not voting, you're not putting in your work, you're not putting in your due diligence, and guess what? You have no voice at the end of the day. So you have no right to sit there and bash anybody.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you have an opportunity to change it or keep it as it is. If you love it, man, I love Biden, I love what he's doing, then go vote for Biden. If you don't like it, you have an opportunity to go change it. If you don't take advantage of that opportunity, and especially as African American, as black people, man, y'all fought for that. You feel what I'm saying? As Latinos, we fought for it too. You understand what I'm saying? Like a lot of people forget, man. At one point, we were slaves too. The Tainos were slaves to the Europeans, to the Euros. You understand what I'm saying? We've been out of, next year makes 150 years that we came out of enslavement. And a lot of people don't know that because you don't do your homework.
Right on. Let me get to this other hot seat question because it's almost getting time for the wind down. Hot seat question number 4. What are some of the life lessons you have learned from the music game?
Ooh, that's a good one. Wow. That's one ain't nobody ever asked me. I ain't gonna lie. What's some of the life lessons? Brotherhood and sisterhood. Because without my brothers and my sisters in the industry like yourself, I wouldn't be Ish. You know what I'm saying? So creating that support system for me personally and my endeavors and what I've done, that's definitely one of them. On the flip side, there's a whole lot of phony baloney mother booms in this industry. And you just have to be, and it's in any industry you get into, there's going to be people that are real and people that are not. But more so in this industry than any other industry that I've worked in throughout my life and throughout my business career. So you just have to be aware and alert all the time of who you're dealing with and who's around you. Because, the old adage, man, show me who's around you, I'll show you who you are.
Yeah, right on.
You know, and that's really on point, especially in terms of this industry. If you carry good people around you, people are going to respond and respect it. You carry some a-holes around you, and people are gonna. And you can see I'm trying to stop cursing. you carry you carry some a-holes around you, and people are gonna identify you because of the people that are around you. So you have to be aware and alert, man. And the last one is, man, say what you do and do what you say.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I ask for, man, is honor in everything. So be honorable.
Life lessons. Now I want to get to this last one. Hot seat question number 5. With you having 36 years in the game and you have been a brand ambassador for some of the hottest brands, name off some of those brands, and what brands are you working with now?
Some of the brands, wow, some of your favorite brands, man. I always tell people, man, if you're an alcoholic, if you drink, 1738 was one of mine. I've worked with Alizé, I've worked with Bacardi, worked with Hennessy, clothing lines. I've worked with Fubu. Matter of fact, last time I worked with them was a liquor brand, my man Carl Brown, Seraphine Cognac. I've worked with PNB Nation, Lot 29, Southpole. What's the new hotline that everybody's rocking right now? Oh, man, I can't. Damn, that's a hard one, man. They can't. But yeah, that's some of them. What you said you were?
I said I caught you off guard. You got to think about it now.
Nah, and you know what it is? It's been so many.
Yeah.
Throughout my years, Averex was another one, man. I had a great relationship with Averex. Davucci was another one. It's been so many, man, and some of them have been short term in terms of setup or activation events and things like that. Some of them have been long term, like working with Diageo and all that, who does most of the liquor brands. And just being there, Alizé, like I said, and helping them expand their brand, doing activation events. I got you mentioned Teddy earlier, man. I was the one that taught Teddy about brand marketing, about branding. Everything about branding Teddy got from me back in the days, and then he ran with it. He understood the language and ran with it. Shout out my brother Teddy T, you know what I'm saying? And he understood it. Nowadays, it's more about the conferences. Now, I got the Puerto Rico Film Festival that's going on next week, the 16th to the 20th. We got 1,200 people coming to Puerto Rico from 45 countries around the world. We're about to premiere and screen 40 different movies and TV shows and documentaries, throughout the 4 days. So it's a great event. I got, obviously my conference, and then I just partnered up with, go check it out. It's called Uplift. Shout out my man Dustin, man. It's a great new app called Uplift, the Uplift app. And Uplift is about creating one-on-one meetings with people that you always want to talk to, no matter where you at. You don't have to come out to the conference. There's an opportunity to not only talk to me, but some other great industry people, whether it's movies, it's producers, it's different executives on different levels that are on this app now. And I think it's a great opportunity at an affordable rate. It's like $10 for the first 5 minutes, and you schedule your time, and you get a one-on-one FaceTime conversation, not even over the phone. And you get to talk to somebody FaceTime, and I told him, I said, it's taking the elevator pitch, what they call the elevator pitch, to a whole nother level. Because if you run it, you run into Manny Maddog, you in the elevator, you got and I'm going to the 10th floor, you got from the first floor to the 10th floor to pitch me what you want, what you need from me, so that when we get to the 10th floor, I could either say, yo, here's my card, or I could say, yo, I wish you the best in your career.
That part.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's really, that's one of the new ones that I recently partnered up with, man, like over the last, I met them at the Fleet DJ conference. You see, this is the importance of going out to these type of events because you never know who you're going to meet or wind up talking to or wind up, developing a rapport with or a relationship with in terms of, hey, I need to be a part of that. Then I got Digital Radio Tracker that I've been with for 14 years. And now DRT is more influential now. Shout out Mike Matthews, the founder. And DRT is more important now than it ever has been because there is no more broadcast data system. There's no more BDS. So you got Sound Exchange, which is where you get your money. But in terms of radio tracking and air track monitoring, airplay, you got Media Base, which is owned by the big boys, Clear Channel, and you're going to pay a guap. Or you can go to Digital Radio Tracker, which is the other tracking system, and they track it. They track over 5,000 stations, and that's FM and that's terrestrial and online. You feel me? So they work both sides of it. They promote records. They work Spotify playlists and things of that nature, man. And it goes on and on. They promote videos. They have a great service menu in terms of what they do. And I've been fortunate to be with them for years. I've put a lot of my projects through there. Matter of fact, I'm putting a couple of more as we speak through the system because it's a great upstream. And literally starts from anywhere from $250 to $250,000. They work campaigns at that level, and they work campaigns where, hey, you know what, these are upstart companies, and they just need to generate some traction. So this is another great company. Yes, ma'am.
Before we check out, I need you to shout out your social media and tell us where the next time we can see you or what else you're working on. Shout out your social media.
This is your boy, Manny Maddog. You can all social medias under Manny Maddog, MANNY, You can check me out every Sunday on Syndicate Sunday, on Zoom, ECND, iHeartRadio, soon to be on Spotify and Apple Music. We're working out the details now, man. It's called Syndicate Sunday, hosted by me. That show is it's along the lines, so to give you a quick synopsis, along the lines of what Drink Champ is doing, honoring the OGs in the industry. We don't play no new music. We don't play any music. We honor the people, and we give you we're about those testimonials. Right. So anybody that's on my show 15, 20, 25 years, 30 years plus in the business, so they can give you that information for you to sit. Once you get off the call or you get off the listening to session or listening to the interview, it gives you a lot of information in terms of growth. In terms of how you can grow, how you continue to be in this business, direction you need to be taking. And we've had, man, I'm on my 7th show, so I'm still new to this. And I've had some of the best of the best of the best from different industries, whether it's film, it's technology, music. Most recently, I had my nephew, Ann King Smith, who's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, because his testimony was so crazy in terms of what he did. In 6 years playing football, first round draft pick. He played 6 years. This guy that played 20 years and don't get a Super Bowl ring. This man played for 6 years, and and now he's into sustainable development. Like what me and Teddy always talk about, he's into that. He started Battle of the Trenches for the kids, so he supports the kids and is raising them, man. And that's what I'm about. I keep telling them, and I keep going back to that, man. I'm about our future. You understand what I'm saying? We need to secure our future. And in order to do that, we have to have these conversations. These are so necessary. That's why I appreciate you bringing me on here and allowing my voice to be heard.
You know what, Manny? I love you so much. I am excited to even have you here. It is such an honor. You have been moving and shaking for years, educating me, mentoring me, let me see how to move and shake throughout the industry and the do's and do nots. So, it's an honor.
Well, I love you and appreciate you the same, so please believe it, man. And guess what? One thing that I see, you don't stop.
It don't stop. We don't stop. The grind does not stop. But with that, we are out.
If you're not dealing with Kaye, it ain't the truth.